So, friends, everyone's life somewhere takes a beautiful turn. So, even my life took a beautiful turn. A turnaround happened when I met Brahmashri Pitamaha Patriji in 1989. It is all through sheer coincidences. There was no plan to meet him. There was no information about meditation at that point of time. So I was studying in Kurnool Medical College. I was studying my medicine. And at that time, a co-passenger who was traveling with me in a bus throughout the night started telling about meditation. I asked him, who taught you this process of meditation? So he mentioned the name of Patriji. And that really made me to meet Patriji. Then very next moment, next day, when we got down the bus, I met Patriji on that day in the morning. And when I met him, all my ideas were shaken up. I thought a guru will have a beard, but at that time Patriji was very young and 45-year-old and no beard and very handsome. He was wearing a jeans pant and t-shirt and he greeted me with a friendly gestures and friendly voice and hugged me and he said, you have come to the right place, and asked me about my background. I told that I am a seeker and I have read a book called Jonathan Livingston Seagull, which is authored by Richard Bach. And that book has made me to have several questions like about existential questions like who am I, why am I here, what is the purpose, where should I go, what should I do, and why we're all here, what is happening here. All these questions really bothering me at that point of time. So Patriji said, you have all the answers within you, inside you. Meditation is a way to access those answers. So that's how I was introduced to meditation that day. First time I practiced Anapanasati meditation. So my life totally transformed after meeting Patriji, after practicing of meditation. And before that, my life was totally different. I can say it is completely different. I am a different personality, a different person altogether. So, friends, I'm so happy about Buddha Purnima celebrations that's happening. And recently we had in Quantum Life University campus Buddha Purnima celebrations. And we just yesterday we finished. That's why I couldn't join on 6th. And Dr. GK requested, invited me to on that day. And Buddha is the embodiment, epitome of enlightenment. When we think about Buddha, two things comes into the mind of everyone. Number one is meditation. Second is enlightenment. And Buddha opened the possibilities of getting awakened, getting enlightened for entire humanity. That possibility, the door of possibility he opened. And otherwise it was so unreachable before Buddha. Everyone thought that, oh, it is such a Herculean task, a difficult task. And such a beautiful contribution by Buddha to the whole globe. And Patriji's contribution is Anapanasati meditation. He made it available to nook and corners of the globe, everywhere. We know in India that every village, every town, every city, Anapanasati meditation is so popularized. So last almost 30 years, I was in the waters of this meditation, completely immersed and swimming in the ocean of meditation. So I keep hearing the stories, transformations, and healings, and it's always mind blowing experiences. And no logic works with meditation. And there are people who awaken themselves with consistent, persistent practice of meditation, the sadhana they have done, and all the dedication by many such masters in India. And hats off to all the work that is initiated, done by Brahmashi Pitamaha Patriji. So, my deepest gratitude to my Guru Patriji. And dear friends, what I learned from my own experiences, I will share with you in 5 important points. Number one, we are not actually whatever that we are not who we are, whatever we think we are actually much more than that. We are limited by our thoughts. This is the first understanding that I had received from practice of meditation. I thought, oh, I am this, and the definition of me is so narrow, so limited. Before, I was carrying so many limiting ideas and misconceptions about the self. I thought the physical self is the only self that exists. But meditation experiences that I had gone through, I experienced during meditation, stretched my mind, my consciousness to understand that there is beyond the physical self, there is some grander self which is awaiting for us to be discovered. We have not yet discovered that grander self, the greater self of us. So we are much more than the personality of us, the ego of us, and the body, mind, soul of us. And we are that greater soul, greater consciousness. We are none other than the Paramatma, the Supreme Soul, or we call that as the Source. We are not different from the Source. From that all pervading, omniscient, omnipresent, omniconscient, the presence throughout. That same one, one consciousness is living in all of us. And this is the first understanding that I had through my sadhana. And it is not like overnight I had this understanding, but it took almost decades of practice, decades and decades. So Patriji always insists about meditation, Swajjaya, reading books, and also Sajjana Sangatya. So we used to really be very sincere about these things, and uh, all the experiences that we used to get, they give us the just a snapshots of the understanding about the greater wisdom. We may not realize the all the greater wisdom the moment that we are experiencing in meditation, but later on, after a month or a year or few years later, the whole picture, the big picture emerges. The wisdom really expands. So this is my first understanding that I had. And the second one, we need to always be like a scientist never to believe blindly anything, whatever, whoever says anything about spirituality or science or anything. So a blind faith, a blind belief is actually anti-spirituality. A, a spiritualist, a spiritualist has the tendency to have a scientific nature, scientific temperament. This is what I keep hearing from Patriji. He is a spiritual scientist. I have really imbibed that quality of being a scientist in spiritual dimension, spiritual uh, domain. So initially, when I was in the sadhana period, I was like a dabbler, trying to experiment with many things like telepathy, clairvoyance. Is it true? Is it really believable that we have third eye? Is it true that we have reincarnation? But I have stumbled upon the experiences of my own past life memories. So at that time, I have seen myself as a Buddhist monk in multiple lifetimes, and also in Europe, many multiple lifetimes in South America and across the globe. I felt so happy that I am not just only in one continent, but I'm a international being. Because when we think that only one lifetime exists and we are so narrowed, we have narrow perspectives. We are such global citizens. This Mother Earth, we have inhabited so many parts of this world and in so many cultures, so many religions, so many traditions. So we are such universal beings, even not even on planet Earth. Some of us, we have come from even reincarnations in some other planets. So I had gone through those experiences, but I doubted my own experiences. Is it because there are possibilities that our mind can cook up stories because there are many illusions. Our mind always creates illusions. So for that, we have to be always bring and uh, it's okay to have that open mind and with doubt, a little doubt. And I doubted all these experiences initially, and I experimented for the first time past life regression. So I conducted on my grandmother, my first experiment in 1990, the year 1990. So the way that I was regressed into my past life in meditation, it happened so spontaneously. The same method I used on my grandmother. Before that, actually, I had one book that has given me some beautiful technology and old methodology of how to conduct a regression also. The name of the book is Search for Truth by Ruth Montgomery. Ruth Montgomery is a skeptical journalist. She experimented with some hypnotic regressions. So, in a put in a trance state, a person gets regressed into a past life memory. So, I took as an inspiration and first time conducted an experiment on my grandmother. So, she was in a trance. I was just giving her instructions. So even at that time, I was a beginner. I don't know how it is going to work out. Just with an open mind and curiosity and experimentation, uh, that kind of like a scientist, I was conducting that my first experiment on my grandmother. So my grandmother was regressed to her childhood memories. Particularly, I was so surprised to hear her cradle memories when she was below 3 years and she was in the cradle. Her mom was making her sleep. She was singing a song and she was narrating her. She was sobbing. She was crying with happiness about the love of the mother. And then she was regressing to womb memory, in utero memory. And that fascinated me. Even fetus, we think that we don't have any memory when we are a fetus, but a fetus, when they're growing up inside the womb, they have every memory, even from conception. When they're growing up, when there is cellular, proliferation, differentiation, organs are getting formed. The soul is already inhabiting that physical, whatever that corpus that is being developed. So my grandmother was narrating about the whole of her experience in the womb when she was almost like reaching to the birth moment, 9 months period, and how she was coming out of the birth canal, and she narrated the whole experience. So it was such a beautiful time for me, because somebody can recall what is forgotten memory, because everything is imprinted and stored as a memory in our library of subconscious mind. So I regressed further my grandmother to a past life. I told her, go back further, even much before your mother's womb memory. And she regressed into a past life where she was narrating about being a villager in a rural village. She was an ordinary woman, like a normal housewife, and she was a Brahmin woman. She used to take care of all the household works and take care of two children. And one day she died with snake bite. She saw that memory when she was around 25 years old. There was a snake bite incident. She died. And at that moment, she was crying with sadness because to leave the two young children. She identified the second child as me. I was her grandson in the current life, but my grandmother saw me as her son in the past life. So in this lifetime, she was like a mother took care of me when I was born, because my parents given me to my grandmother. So I was reared and grown up and took care of by my grandmother. So I could relate a lot of things, and my grandmother, surprisingly, after the session, regression, she was completely got over from the phobia of the snake. There's no phobia of the snake anymore. She had before, we used to terrify our grandmother by telling our snake and showing the picture of the snake, and she used to be terrified. She was completely free, and she was laughing at about the snake, and because she found me again in this life. So that's the first experience for me, but there was no clue whether it is true or not for me. I I thought, oh, maybe it is a story that she's trying to connect something that she saw as an imaginary past life and with the current life. But when I conducted the second session for one um person from Karnool. His name is Pratap, and he was a friend who was coming to learn meditation every day to a meditation center in Karnool. So he was very curious about past life regression, because I shared to all the members there that this is the experiment that I did, and he was very curious. And I conducted that day in front of all of people, everyone, and that was the evening time, and Patriji also was there at the time. So conducted the session, and he was regressed into a past life straight away. He went into such a deep levels of trance. He was speaking in unknown language. For almost 30 minutes, we don't have a clue what language he was speaking. So immediately we brought all those days we used to have cassette tape recorders. So we had a cassette tape recorder. So we recorded the session of him. We recorded the whole language he was speaking. And after 30 minutes, I was asking him about the that he can also speak in English and or Telugu, whatever language he's comfortable with, and what is the place that he is residing in that past life. And he said it's Russia. And the year he said it in the 1850s. And he said he's a political activist and political leader. He was like giving a protest and giving a speech kind of thing. So he narrated about the whole thing, what is happening in that life. So after this session, we were all stunned, we were all so happy that, oh, someone can recall past life, not only just details, but even the language which generally we don't recall. Language needs training. For example, few years of training, you will be fluent in a certain language. But he was speaking such a fluent way, the Russian language. So there was our senior, a house surgeon in Karnool Medical College. He did his MBBS from Russia. He was doing internship house surgery in Karnool Medical College. So I took him the whole thing, all that, whatever that he has spoken in the cassette recorder. We tape recorded it. And then also, we made him to write the alphabet. So even that I took it to this house surgeon. So my senior. So to verify, to cross check whether it is a true Russian language or is just some mumbo jumbo. So that senior of me, and he said he cross-checked, he verified that is a Russian language. It's a little bit of one of the dialects in Russian language, and the alphabets are exactly right, whatever that he has written. So this is the first time I started believing about reincarnation. This is the second thing that in my life there is a big transformation that occurred. Oh, we have multiple lives. That means we don't die. When we die, we are leaving the body and we come back again. We have multiple lives. It really took my understanding to a new level. So at that time, I was so deeply interested about even going further deep into the research about past life regression because reincarnation fascinated me. So I was doing only about xenoglossy. Xenoglossy means speaking strange languages. Are people who bring some validity, some information which can be verifiable in this life. For example, one person who was a pilot in the past life, he said it is Royal Dutch Airlines 1945, 1953, March 22nd. There was air disaster that happened. He narrated about 45 passengers boarded in that aircraft. This all happened in regression session. So later on, I asked him to research further about the Royal Dutch Airlines and all that, and he contacted the KLM. KLM is now Royal Dutch Airlines is called KLM. So he contacted them. There was really an air disaster that happened. He was the pilot who died in that, and along with all the passengers. So such incidents that happened really made me to understand reincarnation is very true. Whether someone believes it or not, they will believe in next life at least. They may not believe in this life, but it is so true. It is like a law of gravitation. One need not really question about that. Sun rises in the east, and every human being has reincarnation. It is such a truth. And the third important thing that I have learned from all the practice that I was doing, hope I have another couple of minutes if I am okay, if organizers are okay. So these 3 points I will share. So the third important thing, understanding that came is about the past life memories and the current life situations. Whatever that we go through. For example, mostly I come from a medical background. There are medical illnesses. People go through medical challenges and there is a correlation. I keep stumbling upon these case studies. There are thousands and thousands and thousands of case studies that I have come across where people in a certain way traumatic death they go through, they carry the residues to this current life, they have ailments in this present life. They have some sickness in this life. Such things I have come across, and there is always law of karma attached to it. Karma is a principle which is also irrefutable, undeniable. One need not even believe about it. It is such a truth. Reincarnation and law of karma. So there are karmic illnesses. There are karmic relationships. Unless someone learns the lessons from these karmic past lives, from the karma, that karma will not go away. The situations will repeat. There are patterns which emerge from this karma which is undealt. There's a positive karma, there's negative karma, but all that prarabdha and sanchita, particularly the negative part of it, definitely one has to learn those lessons. Spiritual path accelerates this process. Meditation accelerates the growth and healing and also the karmic neutralization. And through past life regression, that's what I have found. People accelerating their karmic evolution, the karma gets neutralized very quickly because they learn the karmic lessons. So when we say in spiritual path that gnana agni dagdha karmanam, as Lord Shri Krishna said, the formula that he has given in Bhagavad Gita, all the karmas will vanish with wisdom of the soul that comes into you. They burn all the seeds of karma. They won't germinate again. That possibility exists for everyone. So this is my third understanding about law of karma and karmic healing, karmic relationships, entanglement, all that unentanglement that happens. And the fourth important thing that is whoever you are, it is inevitable one day or other your essence is going to be revealed to you. But one need to be very sincere in their practice of meditation, very sincerely till the last breath of the life. So I took this oath and promised myself that, till my last breath, till my reach to complete Brahmagyan, I will not leave this practice of meditation. The breath is the key. There is no other thing which can really enlighten us. You are the savior unto yourself. You are the light unto yourself, as Buddha said these words. And Patriji insists always that you uplift your own soul. Apo Dipo Bhava. It is so true. And this is my own. Initially, I was expecting that, some great help comes from outside. Someone will uplift me. Someone will show the path, and all the dependency on outside things will be chopped off. When we start growing in meditation, we realize that we have to lit the lamp inside our own selves. There's no one who will enlighten us. There's no savior outside. We have to save our own selves. Only we have to acquire the Brahmagyan, the enlightenment. That is the goal of the human being, the final end goal. That is the complete, total understanding about your own self. So I sincerely been practicing this path since almost 3 decades, and every day I practice. Even now, every day, like I teach. At the same time, I also give myself the time to practice. These two things they continue for me, and this also that's what I want to share with all of you, dear friends. The fifth understanding that I had is total freedom. Freedom doesn't come from outside. We are the prisoners of our own mind, prisoners of our own ideologies. We are prisoners of our own cages or all that personalities that we built. We have to get out of our own prisons. That limited understanding, limited ideas, limited beliefs, fears, and all that. So the total freedom can be achieved only by being courageous, being very, very um, determined about the path. That possibility exists for everyone to achieve the total freedom, but it doesn't come from outside. Even someone may be in the prison, like Aurobindo, Master Aurobindo, but inside the prison, he has written a great scripture. He was reading Bhagavad Gita. He was practicing meditation. He was experiencing ultimate freedom. It's not due to the outer conditions that you experience, the limitations, but inside you, all the limitations exist. We need to go beyond those limitations. So, hope my sharing brings some understanding, some insights to all of you, inspire you in this path. Dear friends, thank you very much. And I appreciate all the great work that all of you are doing. Uh, thank you.